Marvin Holly of Dearborn County, Indiana, has a tender pink spot 3 inches wide on the top of his head where he was scalped in 1869. He's recently been in New York and told of his adventures. Holly was with Custer's command when the attack was made on Black Kettles camp in the Bighorn Valley. After desperate fighting, he fell with a shattered arm. The rest of the story is in his own words. Suddenly I heard shots, and 2 squaws fell dead in the snow by my side. A warrior, the one who most likely shot me, determined to run the risk of getting my scalp, so he bounced down on me with his knees on my chest, drew his knife, and the next second, although it seemed hours to me, the top of my head was in his hand, and he was gone. Imagine someone who hates you with the utmost intensity grabbing a handful of your hair while you're lying prostrate and helpless, and giving it a sudden jerk upward with force enough almost to loosen the scalp. Then, while this painful tension is not relaxed, imagine the not particularly sharp blade of a knife being run quickly in a circle around your scalp with a saw-like motion. Then let your imagination grasp, if it can, the effect that a strong, quick jerk on the tuft of hair to release the scalp from any clinging particles that may hold it in place would have on your nervous and physical systems, and you will have some idea how it feels to be scalped. When that Indian sawed his knife around the top of my head, first a sense of cold numbness pervaded my whole body. This was quickly followed by a flash of pain that started at my feet and ran like an electric shock to my brain. That was but momentary, but it was terrible. When the red men tore my scalp from my head, it seemed as if it must have been connected with cords to every part of my body. The pain that followed the cutting around the scalp had been frightful, but it was ecstasy compared with the torture that followed the tearing of it from my head. Streaks of pain shot to every nerve. My knees were drawn up almost to my chin, and my fingers closed convulsively together in the snow, and that was all I remember. When I came to, I was in a tent. The cavalry had come up in the meantime, and the Indians were routed. Only a few escaped, but Black Kettle was among them. A comrade told me that he had shot and killed the Indian who had scalped me, but the scalp was not recovered at any rate. I, with the rest of the wounded, was sent to the nearest agency, and I lay helpless and suffering untold misery for weeks, and when I recovered, I concluded that I had seen enough of Indian fighting and asked for my discharge. The nature of my wound was such that I received my discharge at once. General Custer jocularly remarked to me afterward that I made a mistake in leaving the service. "Think," said he, "how surprised and disgusted some red devil of an Indian might be if you should stay with us and happen to fall into his hands when he went to raise your hair to find that someone had been there before him."